Well, I would say that the interaction between those two sectors, public and private, is key to enable the energy transition, because we have a very big challenges, and also a very big urgency in terms of the deployment of renewables. As you may know, His Highness the King, may God assist him, has impulsed this renewable energy transition decades ago, and is now also asking the government to accelerate the pace. So what would be accelerate the pace, but also to use this energy transition as a tool to decarbonize the whole economy. That was also part of the declaration of the Royal Cabinet last November. So the idea now is really to go on a fast track and also on a massification stream. And this cannot be achieved if we don't have a harmonization of paces between public and private. We need, for example, the public sector to facilitate the work for the private sector when it comes to authorizations, permitting, regulation, and also standardization kind of support. The idea also of supporting in terms of public policy when it comes to training, capacity building of human capital, but also in terms of facilitating the trade and the offtake at the end, either domestically, but also in terms of export when it comes to green electrons or also green molecules. The private sector, in the other hand, need also to help the public sector to demystify somehow the challenges from an operational point of view. So the challenges that are faced in terms of infrastructure, the challenges that are faced in terms of also capacity, human capital, expertise, and also challenges that are there in terms of regulation, and how could the public sector could really be not a step forward, but at the same pace in terms of preparing the ground. If there is any kind of PPP, public-private partnership, that could be foreseen beforehand in terms of land securing or also land use and also infrastructure, etc. So there is a tandem we need to, or a twinning, let's say, by really abolishing silos and having those two sectors echoing each other. I would be a bit pessimistic if I say there is only challenges when it comes to the large-scale deployment of green hydrogen in Morocco, but that is not true. There is a very big potential, especially for Morocco, to have a big chunk or a big, let's say, market share, let's say, in terms of economy when it will be deployed at scale. But the challenges are also related to the complexity of the value chain, because people are sometimes only speaking about the commodity, but when we try to think about this commodity, we will figure out very quickly that it is linked with a successive kind of bricks, industrial, infrastructural, but also technological bricks that are linked to each other. So we have, let's say, from the industrial point of view, a hydrogen plant or a green molecule plant will consist of desalination plant, will consist of a renewable energy plant, will consist of a hydrogen production plant, will consist of an infrastructure of storing and securing or also handling the hydrogen, and at least consists of one step of conversion. This is at least from the, let's say, the technical point of view. And in parallel with that, during the development of the project, the developer need also to secure, first of all, an offtake, either domestically speaking or as an export, which is not easy. And then if it has secured the offtake, we need also to have securing and closing the financing, then recruiting people, then developing, etc., and constructing. So this is why those challenges are not related with to an individual country like Morocco, or like Germany or like any other individual country. But this challenge or kind of challenges should and have to be tackled at once by everyone, by all the stakeholders that are, involved. And this is why probably, if I can echo also to what happened yesterday when in the round table between the Netherlands and Morocco, and also the aspect of having a three-party kind of agreement with Germany as well, in order to make things easier in terms of deploying the trade and also establishing those green corridors we are speaking about. And then I would also mention that in those challenges there is a huge opportunity for Morocco. I don't want to say that to localize, but let's say to co-localize a very high added value industry in the territory of Morocco, in a win-win relationship with the Europeans mainly, but also international collaborators or allies, when it comes to co-localizing the industry, the value chain, because it's about hydrogen, but it's also about solar panels, it's also about wind blades, windmills, desalination, let's say membranes, etc. So it's kind of an industry that is somehow not existing a lot in Europe, or no more, or a bit, and that is not existing in Morocco. And we could play this kind of win-win to share the value somewhere, and also to be able to be resilient in this region of the world when it comes to achieve, let's say, the targets of the climate change. Well, that would be my favorite question, because I'm working for R&D and innovation, and also supporting researchers to achieve R&D projects. And with this regards, I would say, if I have to very quickly say what is the role of R&D in general, the R&D is here to lower the cost, to increase the quality, to reduce the risks, environmental and safety risks. That would be it, if I have to summarize. But in terms of energy transition, I would probably go in more detail and say that the R&D could enable the upscaling of innovative technologies that are either under development or that are not existing yet. And this is also to echo an IEA report for the net zero emission, which emphasize on the fact that the net zero emission scenario by 2050 depends on technologies that are either under development or not invented yet. And then we need to have R&D and innovation to produce this kind of knowledge and products and services to enable this energy transition and decarbonization. In addition to that, R&D and innovation could help Morocco and all countries to build capacity when it comes to human capital, but also to demystify industry, and then try to attract a part of this industry or a part of this value chain and co-localize it with partners. So in a way that we may have impact when it comes to the deployment of the economy at scale.